Okay, so we start with the fraction, and we're going to write this as a decimal. Use repeating decimals when necessary. So yesterday we learned how to do this using division, right? I could do division if I want to still. 24 divided by 25 or 9 divided by 10. So I can take a look, but instead for today, let me show you guys a different method. Our method is we want to make the denominator, right? The number at the bottom, we want to make it a 1 with zeros. What I mean with that is I want to make it a 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000. I want to make the bottom equal a 1 with some zeros. So I'm looking, okay, 25, I cannot make it 10, but I can make it 100. I can make this 100 if I multiply it by 4, right? 25 times 4 will give me 100. But let me multiply the top by 4 as well. Whatever you multiply the top, or whatever you multiply the bottom with, you got to multiply the top as well. So I know 24 times 4 is 96. 25 times 4 is 100. Remember, I wanted the bottom to be a 1 with zeros. So I got it. Now, my decimal, let me write my 96 first, right? That's going to be part of my decimal. Now, look at the number at the bottom of the fraction. Look at how many zeros it has, right? It's 100. Look at how many zeros it has. In this case, 2 zeros. My answer will have 2 decimal places. So what do I mean with 2 decimal places is 2 numbers after the decimal point. So it's going to be there. Before the decimal, I'm going to put a 0. So my answer is 0.96. Because the denominator has two zeros, my answer should have 2 decimal places. If my denominator only had 1 0, only 1 decimal place. Let's take a look at number 6. The denominator, it is already how I wanted, right? A 1 with zeros. So my answer, let me just write a 9 to begin with. And then I'm like, all right, only 1 decimal place, only 1 number after the decimal point. Only 1 number because 10 only has 1 0. So my answer in this case is 0.9. All right, so let's take a look at question number 7. I'm just focused on the fraction, just the fraction. I don't care about the 5 in front of the fraction. All right, let me write the 5 there. Now, the bottom of my fraction, I want to make it either a 10 or 100. I can make it 10 if I multiply by 2. Let me multiply the top by 2 as well. So it makes it 4 over 10. So just my decimal point, there's a 4 there. It only has, my 10 only has 1 decimal place. So I'm just going to put a point there. And then right before the point, I'm going to put a 5, right? The 5 at the very front is just the number in front of the decimal. So 5.4. Now, some of you might say, well, what if I don't want to make the bottom 10? What if I want to make it 100? Let's take a look at that question again. 5 and 2/5. Right? What if you guys said, I want to multiply by 20 because that's going to make it 5 and 40 over 100. Okay. So there's the 40 because 100 has 2 zeros. So 2 decimal places. And then, so this is 5.40. Now, 5.4 and 5.40, isn't that the same thing? Because on decimals, if there are zeros at the very, very far right, we just ignore it. So 5.40, if I ignore that 0, 5.4. It's the same thing. Now, let's take a look at question number 8. I'm just going to make the top and the bottom. Well, the bottom, let me make it a 10. So I want to multiply each by 5. So this makes it 5 over 10. I'm going to write the 5 as part of my answer, but this answer only has 1 decimal place, right? That 10 only has 1 0, so only 1 decimal place. Before the fraction, I don't see a number, so 0. So 0.5. Now, we could do this from a fraction to a decimal, you can use the method I just showed you today. I know yesterday we went over division. To be honest, use whichever method you feel comfortable with.